Good morning, class. Today we are going to study about the next part of our models. We'll start with the modal verb will first. Now, will is a modal verb which is used to show promise, willingness, determination, preference with the first person. First person is I and we. Now, first we'll take an example of promise. I will give you a gift of your choice. Now, here it is a promise that I'll give to you a gift of your choice. I'll be there for you, don't worry. Here this is also showing the promise that I'll be there for you, you need not to worry. We will help you. Now this is my willingness, this is our willingness to help you. Nobody has insisted us to do this thing. Now this is our willingness. I'll show you the way to the market. Here again I'm showing you my willingness that I'm willing to show you the way to the market as you have asked me probably. Now the next one is I will not allow it. Now this is my determination that I will not allow it. I will pass my driving test. This is again a kind of a determination. I will accept your offer. Now this is my choice, this is my preference that I will accept your offer. It means I am agree with whatever you have offered. Now next use of will is to express request, invitation, assumption or prediction or habit. Now first is will you help me. Now this is a request. Now here I am making a request to you, will you help me. She will be in the school during school hours. This is my assumption, it is my belief that she will be in school during school hours. The lion will usually kill other animals. Now this is the habit. This is the habit of the lions that they kill other animals. We also use will for habitual events like she will get upset if I fail to reach on time. So here the use of will is showing a habitual event or a habitual activity which is there on daily basis. Now next is she is strange. She will sit for hours without talking. Now here I am again talking about a habit that she is strange because she will sit for hours without talking. Now here I am talking about a habit of a person who used to sit for hours and hours together without talking. So we can use will also for talking about habits. You will be punished for not doing your work. Now here will is used for showing warning. Will you please be quiet. Now here I am making a request. Will you please be quiet. Now will is also used to talk about simple future. Now if we have talked about simple future, we use will with second and third person. It will be great party. Now here I am talking about future plan. It will be a great party. We will probably go out tonight. Again it's a future plan which we have already made. This bottle will hold 2 liters of milk. Now here we are talking about capacity. Capacity with the use of will. The ship will take 300 guests. Now again we are talking about capacity of the ship that it will take 300 guests. Now negative form of will and will not. It is the negative form of will is will not and won't. Now other than these uses, will is also used in conditionals, which when we will study conditionals I'll explain you the use. I can give you one example. For example, if she gets the job, she will have to move to Germany. Now here you can see I have used two clauses. One is if clause. If clause, it means it is always written in simple present tense because it is showing you the condition if she gets the job. So this is the condition if she gets the job. Now the result clause or the main clause, the main thing which we want to talk, it should be always in future, that is with will. She will have to move Germany. It means if the condition fulfilled, if she gets the job, she will have to move to Germany. So this is the condition. This is in conditionals. We can also use will. Now students, will is also used for predictions. Predictions means when we predict something what will happen in future. For example, don't wash it, it will shrink. Don't wash it in hot water, it will shrink. Now here I am making some future prediction. If you do this type of action, the result will be this. We can also use a will for present condition also. Like for example, the baby will be crying. it will be crying if I say. It means here I know the reason why, I know the situation which made the baby crying. So in this case I'm not talking about future, I'm talking about present only. Now the next is use of would. Would, it is used to as we all know that it is the past form of will. It is used to express past form of will. The problem was how he would reach there. Here I am talking about the problem which he has faced in the past. Second is to express past habit. My father would get up early in the morning. It is the past habit of my father. Now for making requests, you would you please give me your bike. Now here I am making a request. Now students, would, the use of would is, you may say, more less direct as compared to will. Will is a direct, and whereas would is less direct. If we talk about would, it is less direct and it is more polite than will. To express wish, I wish she would be healthy. Now this is my wish, that she would be healthy. I wish I would have more free time. Now here again I am talking about my wish. I wish that I would have more time. To express an imaginary condition, it means it is in my imagination. I would have bought a big house if I have earned a lot of money. Now in this condition, if we are talking about this type of condition, it means I am having some sort of regret in my mind for not doing something. It means for not doing a lot of for not earning a lot of money. So you can see that in if clause I have used the second form of the verb, that is earned. So it is, I am talking about some kind of past thing which was not fulfilled. It means I have some kind of regret for not doing something which was left unfulfilled. So you can see if clause is having the second form of the verb and the result clause is would have. Used to show preferences. It is also used to show preferences. He would rather die than beg. Now this is his choice. Preference means the choice. He would like to die instead of begging. So this is the use of would. Now the negative form of would is would not, and contracted form is wouldn't. Now the use of shall. Shall is used to express simple future. Now simple future for suggestion, plan, offer with first person, that is INV in the interrogatives. Now I shall go for a long drive this evening. This is a simple future which I have decided that I shall go for a long drive this evening. Shall we start the class? Now this is an offer or a suggestion. Shall we start the class? This is an offer or suggestion. We shall shift to a new house next week. This is our plan, this is our intention that we want to shift to a new house next week. Shall I have a cup of coffee from your shop? Now this is again a kind of an offer. Now shall we open a new shop? Here this is a suggestion. I'm asking for a suggestion. Shall we open a new shop? Now in second and third person, it is used to indicate threat, warning, command and promise and determination. You shall be punished for your misdeeds. Now this is a kind of a threat, or you may say kind of a warning. You shall go now. This is a command. You shall get a bicycle. Now this is a promise. Now you have seen the use of will and shall. Now students, for simple future activity, with first person we use shall, and with second and third person we use will. But in case if we are talking about determination, threat, warning and promises, we use will with the first person and shall with second and third person. Right? Now second is shall is also used for obligation in a very formal situation. Students shall not enter here. This is very formal use of shall. There shall be no food and drink in the premises. Again, this is the use of shall in a very formal situation. Whenever we move out, we find this kind of notice boards in the tourist places or in the places where people often goes. So the negative form of shall is shall not and shan't. Now next is use of should. Should is past form of shall to express duty or obligation. I should help my friends. Now this is a kind of a duty. You should not be lazy, a kind of obligation. To express opinion, or ask opinion. If we want to express any opinion, if we want to get any opinion, we can use should. This should be on the way to Jaipur. Now this is my opinion. I should walk to work. Now again, this is a kind of my opinion that it is better for me to if I should walk to work. He should be more open to ideas. Now this is my opinion for somebody else. You should stay home because you look tired. So this is my opinion for somebody. Should we tell him truth? Now I'm asking about your opinion that if it is right to tell him the truth. Now what should we do now? Again I'm asking your opinion. What should we do now in this particular situation? To give or to take advice. To give and to take advice, we should go to the temple. Now this is a kind of a advice you may say, or a suggestion we may say. We should obey our elders. Again a kind of a advice or suggestion. Now after lest, when someone expresses fear, or now when we have to express fear, a kind of a fear, we use should with lest. How? Walk carefully lest you should fall down. Now here I am giving you a warning. I am making you conscious about something. I am telling you about the fear with the use of lest and should. In indirect speech, shall changes into should. I said I shall go to school tomorrow. Now you can see this is the statement in direct speech. Now if we want to change it into indirect speech, it will become like this. I said that I should go to school the next day. Now the negative form of should is shouldn't and should not. Now let's move to dare. Now dare expresses courage to do something or to challenge. It is normally used in interrogative and negative sentences. In negative sentences, it is used to show lack of courage. I dare not disturb them. Here I am showing lack of courage in me. He dare not stand in front of me. Again, I am showing lack of courage in him because he cannot or he dare not stand in front of me. It means he lacks courage before standing me. Now second is in interrogative. We mostly use dare in only in negative and in interrogative sentences. How dare you disturb them? Now here I am asking about how such a dareful act you did. How dare you speak like this before your father? Now again used to ask about such courage which you have shown. Now use of must. Must is used to express necessity, strong recommendation or obligation. You must take part in competition. Now this is a kind of a strong recommendation which I have made. I want this is good for you. The eligible candidates must bring their originals. This is obligation for the eligible candidates that they must bring their originals. You must leave now, otherwise you may miss the flight. This might be a necessity of the situation. This is my strong recommendation that you must leave now, otherwise you will or you may miss the flight. To indicate assumption or logical conclusion or deduction is one of the same thing. She must be here in the evening. Now this is logical because it is based on some facts, based on some conclusion, based on some observation. She must be here in the evening. Might be it is her regular time. You must be tired after a long journey. Now because I know that you have traveled a long journey, so I know that you must be tired. In case of prohibition, we also use must in case of prohibition, but here the negative form of must is used. You must not bunk school. You must not tell him it's a surprise. It means here we are prohibiting you from doing these things. Visitor must not feed any animal in the zoo. Again, you are not prohibited. You are prohibited to do so. To express probability, it means about future. Don't get upset, she must be joking. Now here we are making some probabilities that don't get upset, she must be joking. Now we are not sure, but we are making some probability. He has not been coming to school, he must be ill. Again we are making some probability that he must be ill, that is why he is not coming to school. Now use of must in interrogatives. Now we can also use must in interrogatives if the answer of the interrogative question with must is in affirmative. If the answer of such question is in negative, then we need not. If it is in affirmative, we use must. For example, you can see, Must I go with her? Now here I am asking a question to somebody. Must I go with her? Now if the answer is an affirmative, I can use must in the answer. Yes, you must go. But in case if the answer is in negative, we cannot use must. No, you must go. No, this is wrong. It will be like this. No, you needn't go. Now, so this will be the correct one to use needn't in place of must in case of negative replies. Now, negative form of must is must not and mustn't. Now, apart from these uses, must can also be used for to show something that is true, or you can say to show certainty. It means based on some evidences we can show that something must be right. Now look at this snow. It must be really cold outside. Now because of some reason, because of some evidences, I can say that something is true, something is certain. And we can also use a must for showing necessity, as we have discussed in the earlier, that for example we must drink at least 7 to 8 glass of water in a day. Now this is a necessity for life. This is necessity of everybody, that we must drink at least 8 to 10 glass of water. So these are the uses of must. Now let's move to the next model, that is have to, has to and had to. Now students, we also use have to, had to and has to express certainty, compulsion, necessity, obligation. For example, I have to reach school early. Now this is an affirmative sentence. Here I am saying I have to reach school early. Now in negative, I do not have to reach early. Now you cannot write I have not to. This will be a wrong sentence. For making negative and for making interrogative, we take use of helping verb like do, does and did. As you all know that for negative and for interrogative we use helping verbs. So similarly it is in the case of has to, have to and had to also. For making interrogative and negative statements we take help of helping verbs. I have to reach school early. This is an affirmative sentence and we don't require any kind of helping verb here. So this is simply stated, I have to reach school early. But when we talk about negative sentence, we have to use helping verb, and this is a present tense sentence. So the present tense, for present tense the helping verb is do and does according to the subject we use. I do not have to reach early. This is a negative sentence. Now do I have to reach school early? Now this is an interrogative. Here I am asking a question, so I need to put the helping verb in the beginning. Now the next is she has to get up early. Here it's an affirmative sentence, so we need not to use any kind of helping verb. But the moment we change it into negative or interrogative, we'll take help of helping verbs. She does not have to get up early. Does she have to get up early? Now this kind of helping verb which will help to frame negative and interrogative sentences. Now she has to work late in the office. They had to finish their work before 5 p.m. They did not have to. Now in case of we are talking about past. In case we have to talk about past, we need to use had to with all the subjects, because had to is the past form of have to and has to. So they had to finish their work before 5 p.m. Here we are talking about past, so we have used had to. Now for making it negative, we'll take help of did. Did is past form of do and does. So they did not have to finish their work before 5 p.m. Again we are talking about past. Did they have to finish their work before 5 p.m.? This is an interrogative statement because we are talking about past again. Now students, have to is used to suggest some kind of compulsion, we can say, or we can say that there is a rule which has to be followed, or you can say that situation requires it. In this case we can use have to and had to. Students, we also use is to, am to and are to, but these are not modal verbs. You can see uses of these verbs also for showing determination, for showing something which is compulsion, for showing something which the situation requires. For example, if I say his aim is to become a pilot, or his aim is to become a doctor. Now it means here the speaker himself has decided to become something. There is no compulsion. I am to visit the museum tomorrow. Now this is a fixed program which I have made. I am destined to go somewhere. So this is not a modal verb here. they are to conduct a meeting. It means here they are expected to conduct a meeting. This is not in a modal verb. So don't get confused if you find is, am, and are with to for showing such kind of compulsion, for showing something is expected to do, for showing something is destined to do. These are not modal verbs. They are just normal verbs to show compulsion or for showing something has been planned. Thank you.